Amanda, I want to play a game.
Hey horror freaks, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda. As you can see from the title, today's video is my list of my top 10 favorite opening scenes in horror movies. But this list could have been way longer, so at the end of the video I am going to be giving you guys my honorable mentions. And before I start, two things that I want to say first. Of course, this video is going to have major spoilers of these movies because I am going to be briefly explaining the opening scenes. So you haven't watched any of these films and you don't want the spoilers, then you're gonna have to fast forward this video a little bit. And also, just because these ones are my favorites, that doesn't mean that I consider this to be the best ones, because I believe that there's a huge difference between the favorites and the best. Because if you ask me which opening scenes I do believe are the best ones in horror movies, that will be a different list. So I just want to clarify that. But without anything else to say, let's get right into it, into my top 10 favorite opening scenes in horror movies. This list doesn't have a particular order, only the last one that is my top one, and I don't think that no other scene is going to top it. But I'm going to start with Urban Legend. This is a slasher from 1998. I will watch it, take this as a sign because it's a really good slasher. And this opening scene, what features is during a rainy middle of the night drive, Pendleton University student Michelle, she stops at a gas station. She gives her credit card to the employee and asks him to fill the tank. But while filling the car, he glances at the back seat and told her to go inside, claiming that her bank needed to speak with her. But he was only trying to warn her about the fact that someone is in her back seat. But Michelle panicked, she runs to her car and drives away. So she has no idea that someone is in the back of her car, and she is decapitated by the unknown killer. I feel that this is a great way to open a film about urban legends, because urban legends, they are already a little bit scary. So imagine living in a world where these things, they become a reality, and that's the whole point of the movie. There is someone out there that is making true one of the most well-known urban legends. So imagine you're driving in a car in the middle of the night and you have indeed someone in the back of it and is going to kill you. That is scary. I even could say that Urban Legend is one of my favorite slashers from the 90s. Again, I'm not saying that it's a masterpiece, but I think that it's worth watching. Another of my favorite opening scenes in horror is from Don't Be Afraid of the Dark from 2010. This film may not be good, but it's an opening scene that I just love. And what this opening scene features is in the 19th century Providence County, at Blackwood Manor, the wildlife painter Locke Emerson Blackwood, he murders his housekeeper in the basement. He removes her and his own teeth, offering them to creatures in an ash pit that has taken his son. But they refuse because they are demanding children's teeth. So the creatures pull him into the pit and he, of course, gets killed and disappears. Then the film moves to the present day and we have a family that is moving into the house. They are looking to sell the house and they need to do some renovations, and a girl finds the ash pit and she has an encounter with these little creatures that what they do is that they eat children. This is scary but has some sad moments, and also the ending has a pretty sad moment. But those first minutes when you see Blackwood, you can see his desperation. You can see that he is doing anything that he can to bring his son back. Unfortunately, he's not going to get it. He has been tricked by these creatures. The film may not be good because it's not, but I do feel that it deserves a chance. Also, I feel that this one is great for kids. For adults, maybe you're not going to get scared, but for a kid, ooh, probably gonna have nightmares. But the opening scene alone, for me, it's worth it. Next one is from my favorite sequel of the Halloween franchise, and it's Halloween Age 20, or 20 years later. And what this opening scene features is on October 29 of 1998, Marian Whittington returned to her Landon, Illinois home to find it broken in and Laurie Strode file missing. When she's looking for help, she realizes that Michael Myers has come back and has murdered her teenage neighbors Jimmy and Tony, and then kills her before he flees in Jimmy's car. We can say that 28 years later has the worst Michael Myers mask. It's awful. It's bad. And it's something that I hate because I feel that this film is good. And it's my favorite sequel for a reason. I don't care if for many people this is bad. I loved it and that's all that matters. The next one I feel that is a favorite of a lot of people, but for a good reason, and is the opening scene of 28 weeks later. This opening scene features is during the initial outbreak of the rage virus. Don, his wife Alice, and 4 more survivors, they are hiding in a cottage on the outskirts of London. They hear a terrified boy pounding at their door, and Don lets him in. Minutes later, they discover that infected people have followed the boy. Don pleads with Alice to leave the boy, but she refuses. So he abandons them and escapes on a boat while Alice, the boy, and the rest of the survivors are presumably killed. It's not only the fact that he is saving himself and leaving his family, well, his wife, since they had 2 daughters that they weren't on the country when everything happened, so they appear later into the film, but also the music and the camera work, since we have a scene of him running on this hill and we have all the infected people coming towards him. And the music, I feel that it's crucial on this specific scene. For what I know, a lot of people love this, but we have a good reason for it, because this is indeed one of the best opening scenes in horror movies. That's for sure. Following into viruses and zombies, and I feel that this one is another one that a lot of people like, and it's Dawn of the Dead 2004 opening scene. This is from the remake. I like both. I like the original and also the remake. And I actually remember the first time that I saw this film was because I saw the clip of the opening scene on Facebook. I came across with it, and because I didn't know which film it was at the time, I was like, what is this? So I put on the clip and I was shocked. And I feel that this is enough to convince someone to watch the movie. So what this opening scene features is after finishing a long shift as a nurse in the Milwaukee area, Anna returns to her suburban neighborhood and her husband Louis. Caught up in the scheduled date night, they miss several emergency news bullets. And the next morning, a zombified neighborhood girl, Vivian, enters their bedroom and kills Louis and infects him. And he immediately reanimates and tries to attack Anna. She flees the chaotic neighborhood in her car, but she crashes and passes out. Of course, what you're seeing is a brief of it, but this scene is way longer and more intense. Again, the music and the camera work, and also when she's driving the car, and she does a good job also. I could say that these are the type of scenes that they make your heart race, because you don't know if she's going to make it out alive. I feel that this one is more than enough for you to continue watching the movie. So if you have never watched this one, this is indeed a remake that you should watch. And now getting into my top 5. Again, this one doesn't have a specific order, but I have talked about these films a lot here. So maybe if you have been here for a while, you're not going to be surprised by the films I'm going to be mentioning next. First one that I want to talk about is Dead Silence. This is one of my favorite horror movies ever. Has a plot twist that it still shocks me to this day, and I feel that is effective, and this is a film that is definitely worth watching. I am never going to get why it has such a low rating. So what this opening scene features is that Jamie Ashen and his wife Lisa have received an anonymous gift of a ventriloquist doll called Belly. When Jamie goes out to buy some food, Lisa stays with the doll, but she eventually gets killed by something. When Jamie returns, he finds Lisa under bed and her tongue has been cut off. This is a film that has not one but 2 plot twists, and one of those is foreshadowed on the opening scene. Of course, I am not going to say anything about it. I don't even mention what is the thing. It has to do with why she was killed and who killed her, because at first we have no idea, since we don't see who is killing her and also why, like it's out of nowhere. So that is the first plot twist that is revealed toward the end of the movie, and it's not something that you really see coming until you rewatch it, and then you see the little details, and that is when you realize, oh, so it was in our face the whole time. And in the case of this one, the 2 plot twists, they are right in your face the whole time. I don't get why this film is so damn underrated. The next one is a horror classic, and it's Halloween from 1978. Yes, I have my favorite of the franchise, that is Halloween 1978, and the sequel on this list. This is an opening scene that makes my heart wanting to come out of my chest of excitement. Also the music. One of my favorite parts of the whole franchise is the music, and I feel that it's paired perfectly at the beginning with the title card. And as for what is featured on this opening scene, the film opens on Halloween of 1963 in the suburban Illinois town of Haddonfield. The 6-year-old Michael Myers brutally stabs his senior sister Judith to death with a chef knife while wearing a clown costume. What I like about this scene is that we are on the point of view of the killer, and you have no idea who is the person behind the mask, because you can see the hand, you can see when he's grabbing the knife, but you don't even know who the hell is behind it. As far as you can tell, it could be anyone. So when they remove the mask and you see that it's actually a child, like, what the hell is this? I love Halloween. For me, Halloween from 1978 is one of the best horror movies ever made. For me, it's a masterpiece at 10 out of 10, a 5 out of 5, and I'm going to defend it until the day I die. And now getting into the last three. I don't know if this one is a favorite of a lot of people, but I do know that a lot of people like this movie, and it's from The Ring. This is, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best, PG-13 horror movie ever made. And what this opening scene features is a teenage girl, Katie and Becca. They're discussing an urban legend about a cursed videotape that causes whoever views it to die in 1 week. And that night, Katie, who viewed it 1 week ago with her friends, is killed by an unseen force. I love The Ring. This is one of those situations when you can agree that the American remake is as good as the original. That is not something that happens often. But with The Ring, I could never hate this movie. This is a type of movie that I'm going to defend until the day that I die. Perfect example that you can make a good and effective PG-13 horror movie. And now we are on the last two. I feel that this one may be predictable, but honestly, I don't care. This is a fan favorite, and is the opening scene of Scream. Drew Barrymore, she gave us everything on those first 15 minutes. This is what made the franchise. I think that at this point, everyone knows that the opening scene of Scream is Drew Barrymore getting killed with her blonde bob. And also, this is the first time that we're seeing Ghostface, and it's giving us everything. We already know that we are not safe with him and that we should never answer the phone. And what this opening scene features is in Woodsboro, California, high schooler Casey Baker is home alone when a sadistic caller threatens her and her boyfriend Steve. He forces her to answer horror movie trivia, but then kills Steve for a wrong answer. Casey is then murdered by the caller in a Ghostface costume, and her dismembered body is found hanging from a tree. I cannot only imagine people back in the 90s going to watch this thinking that Drew Barrymore is the protagonist, only to get killed. That was the whole point. The marketing behind it was that, to make people believe that she was the protagonist and then get her killed on the first 15 minutes. That's brilliant. But that is something that I would have loved to experience, because by the time that I saw Scream, since I didn't have that marketing and I didn't saw, of course, the campaigns and poster and all that, it didn't have the same effect. So for me, it was surprising, of course, to see her, because I knew who she was, but it doesn't hit the same. And we have arrived to the top one. This is my ultimate favorite opening scene in a horror movie. This film is not good at all, because it's not, but I love it anyway. Maybe you already know which one it is, and it's Ghost Ship. If you have never watched this, maybe you have seen pictures from this opening scene. What this opening scene features is in 1962, an uninvited passenger aboard the Italian ocean liner MS Antonia Grassa lifts a lever to tighten a metal cable, which then snaps and rips through the stage and dance floor, cutting everyone in half except a girl called Katie, who survives due to her short height. The last thing that you could be expecting is to see all these people happy on this cruise ship and suddenly snap in half. The practical effects, they are fantastic, especially for the time that the film was made, since this is early 2000s. Unfortunately, the rest of the movie is not as good, but I really like the movie. Like, I can admit that it's bad, but I still like it, and I really like the ending. It's one of those endings with a little bit of a plot twist. So I feel that it's definitely worth watching at least once. But with that, I have ended my top 10. But like I said, this list could have been way longer, so I'm going to be reading those honorable mentions. These ones are films that also have opening scenes that I really like. But again, I had to choose, so I couldn't mention them all. But other opening scenes that I really like is Friday the 13th, the remake. surprisingly. My favorite horror movie ever is Friday the 13th from 1980, but I can do agree that the opening scene from 2009 is brutal. Honestly, is solid. Like the rest of the movie, I don't like it. I can only watch the opening scene. I'm going to be fine. Next, I have Midsommar. I know that there's people that doesn't like it, but I feel that this scene is so shocking and it sets the tone for the rest of the movie. I really like Midsommar. My Bloody Valentine from 1981, I really like that opening scene also. Final Destination 3 is my favorite from the franchise. That Premonition, I know for everyone else it's going to be Final Destination 2. It's a great one, but I love roller coasters, so for me it's Final Destination 3. I also have Black Christmas, the one from 1974. Evil Dead from 2013. The opening scene of the remake is good. We have It Chapter 1, that first encounter of Georgie, and the only one that it has with Pennywise. But I love the fact that they opened the film with that iconic scene from the book. Loved it. Also have Halloween Kills. They were able to replicate the atmosphere of the Halloween from 1978 so perfectly that I just love it. I also have Get Out. It may be simple compared to the rest of the movie, but I feel that the movie is perfect, and the opening scene alone, I really like it. Again, I know that it's simple, maybe it doesn't show much, but it's scary. And also have Jaws. I really like the opening scene of Jaws, since the last thing that you want to see is someone getting killed by a shark, although at that moment you don't even know what is on the ocean. And at last, the original When a Stranger's Call. So I feel that it's an iconic, since we have that urban legend that the call is coming from inside the house. With that, I have ended the video, but I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below which one is your favorite opening scene in a horror movie. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.
Game over.